Noli is the newest killer added in Forsaken, and he's by far the most complex one yet, having a 5-star difficulty same as John Doe. In this video, I'll show you guys each of his abilities, how to use them and how to counter them, as well as an example match where I go over my gameplay to see how Noli can be played versus a better lobby. First, we have Noli's stats. He has 7.5 walking speed, which is the slowest in the game, 27.5 running speed, which is the second fastest in the game, just slightly faster than John Doe. His M1 deals 25 damage with a 1.8 second cooldown and a wind up of 0.4 seconds. Next, Noli has two passive abilities, though being Hallucination and Prankster. Hallucination has 3 levels and each of them has a different effect. At level 1, the survivor has their aura revealed with a light blue color, and the timer as well as the objective counter give the wrong information. At level 2, the survivor has their aura revealed with a purple color, and they will start seeing fake objects such as fake dispensers, heals, as well as fake discard shields. At level 3, the survivor has their aura revealed with a dark purple color, and they will now have fake Noli clones chasing them. All levels of hallucination last 20 seconds and can be removed earlier if the survivor gets hit by Noli's M1 or if they get slammed by the Void Rush. The other passive is Prankster, which has a chance to spawn up to 3 fake generators. Finishing a puzzle on a fake generator will inflict that survivor with a level of hallucination. If the generator is finished, the survivor will instantly get hallucination 3 and the generator will reset its progress. There are multiple ways to tell if a generator is fake, but more on that later. Now for the abilities, which Noli has 3 of. The first ability is Void Rush, which has a 1 second wind up and then starts a rush for about 4 seconds. The rush can be cancelled midway through by either hitting an obstacle or by stop holding the ability button. If he hits a survivor with a rush, said survivor will take 10 damage and get inflicted with hallucination 2. Noli will be able to start another rush a second later. If you hit them again, they will take 10 damage as well as an extra 30 damage because of the slam. The second ability is Nova, which has a 0.8 second wind up and then will throw a projectile which will pull survivors in the center of the explosion and deal 15 damage. The projectile can be aimed at a wall for a higher splash radius or detonated manually at any time at the cost of a smaller splash radius. Aiming it into the ground will also cause the explosion to be smaller. His last ability is Observant, which has a 1.5 second wind up, after which Noli can teleport to any generator on the map. Survivors will get a different level of hallucination depending on how far they are from said generator. If the survivor is 20 stats away from that generator, it will be level 1, a 60 stats level 2, and at 100 stats or more level 3. Now, how do you actually use those abilities? All his abilities can be strong if used properly, so it's very important to know both their strengths and weaknesses. The Void Rush, despite what many people might think, is in my opinion his weakest ability because of how easy it is to dodge. However, that doesn't mean we can make it better. When starting a rush, your turn rate will be much better for roughly 0.8 seconds, which can be very good on tight loops. You can also hit enemies through walls if they are close enough to one, which can catch even the better players off guard. Another way to use the Void Rush is for distance. Whenever the survivor is getting pretty far from you, you can use the ability to get closer to them. Keep in mind that it's not really a good idea to use it when you have low stamina because you do not recharge stamina during the rush. As for the Nova, this is probably his best ability due to how much utility it has as well as its short cooldown. It's best used as small loops to waste the survivor's stamina and to deal small chip damage. You can also pull survivors off the ledge on some maps if you time your ability just right, although it can be quite difficult in certain parts. It can also be used to get rid of tapped traps as well as dispensers without wasting time or stamina during a chase. As for the last ability, we have Observant. This ability is very good for getting distance on survivors in a chase, but it's mostly used for finding other survivors as it reveals their aura when teleporting. It's also great at catching survivors off guard if they are relatively far away from the generator you teleport to, as you can jump scare them with the Void Rush and deal a free 40 damage. Noli can be a tricky killer to counter as a survivor, but when you know what each of his abilities is capable of, it's not that difficult. One of the most important aspects is how to differentiate a fake generator from a real one. There are multiple ways, but the best one is to look on the top of the generator as you'll see Noli's face on it. Other ways are to listen for sound cues that come directly from the generator, or if you start to repair it, to look at the timer to see if it decreases by 3 to 4 seconds, as well as look at messages which are given when solving a puzzle. Another important aspect is how to spot a fake Noli from a real one. A fake Noli can use any abilities and the damage it will deal will be fake and not be shown on your actual health bar, which is in the top right of the screen. Void Rush is an ability that's almost exclusively used for long distances, so it's usually a good idea to stay in a smaller loop where it will be difficult for the killer to hit you with a rush. If Noli is close to you, however, try going in one direction and then sharply change the direction so he misses. Nova is a little more complicated, as you have to be aware of everything, and I mean everything, around you. Even a random tree can be used to increase the splash radius and land a hit on you. When you see Noli using his ability, it's best to try to get far enough so the splash doesn't hit you, and stay far enough from any obstacles or walls. For the last ability we have Observant, which has two cases. The first case is when Noli is in chase with you and he uses the ability. In that case, try to spot the generator he teleports to and run in the opposite direction of it. Be sure, however, that Noli is actually using his ability because he can also fake it and mind game you. The second case is when Noli uses it for all reveal and general info. In that case, be aware that Noli can see your location for the next 20 seconds and try to spot where the real Noli actually is on the map. Okay, now I'm going to showcase one of the games I had with Noli. And this one is probably my hardest one that I had in the last 2 or 3 days, so it's gonna be quite interesting, I would say. Here I start off with a Nova, which actually hits both Shulesky and Elliot. I decided to go for Elliot first, because the heals are really annoying. On this server I think I was playing on 150 ping, so my hits would miss quite a lot, which I couldn't really do much about. But here I do another Nova, which is pretty good and secures me the kill. I decide to teleport to find my next target, and I go for the Taff here because he's the only other support in the match. Another great Nova. And here's my first mistake, I don't manage to hit the South Plate Street Mine in time, and I get confused and lose chase with the Taff. So I have to wait for my Observant to come off cooldown. But here I get hit by the Trip Mine again, which is unfortunate. This Shulesky should be pretty dead because he's in a dead zone, so he doesn't really have anywhere to go, and he also missed his sword. But because of my 150 ping, I keep missing my shots, which is really unfortunate. And here I do a Nova to hit everyone. Now my second mistake is actually trying to hit this guest because he just pushed me off. So I decided to go for the other guest that's in a better spot for me. But then I see this Staff that's trying to hide, and I can see that he's back to full HP, meaning that he found a medkit, which means one less medkit for the whole match. I see my Nova is off cooldown, so I'll try to use it soon. I tried to secure the kill but I failed, but it's fine because I'm very close to him and he has no stamina, so I get the kill. And now I would normally go for the 2-time because he got no stacks yet, he did not even front stab me a single time, so it should be fine. He should not have any chance of getting the second life, even if he magically backstabs me 2 times, which I don't think will happen. I tried to predict a hit here, that's why I stopped, but he doesn't do the backstab here as well, but the guest actually blocks my Nova, which is actually a really good play for him. I said to go for the guest because the 2-time already ran pretty far. I missed my Nova, which is unfortunate. Now I do see the 2-time in the distance and he's getting actually closer, but I don't notice the backstab, which is actually pretty bad because if he backstabs me again, I basically lose. Here the guest tries to do a parry, but my invisibility lasted just enough to protect me from that, which is very good. This guest is in a really bad position. I just managed to kill him. Pretty nice. And now I have a minute and a half to kill this 2-time because he's gonna be my worst enemy if he goes through LMS. Here I do a Void Rush and I managed to land it. I was mostly doing it for distance, but hitting it was also good. This Nova missed, unfortunately. I should land it on that tree, it would have been a lot better. He actually tried to mind game because I'm confident he would try to backstab me again. And he does try this time, but I don't think he had enough stamina to do it. And now I only have a gas with half HP left. I bait his block by stopping early. And this gas pretty much has nothing he can do because he's in a dead zone and he is 2 hits off. And that's GG. Pretty nice game, I would say. He played well, everyone played pretty well. So I would say this is probably the game that you can learn the most from, at least from the ones I did, because playing public lobbies is just kind of boring sometimes because too many people are just bad. In conclusion, Noli is a complex killer with a steep learning curve that will take time to master. He can be great in 1v1s, but can struggle versus good teams just like any other killer. I hope you guys liked this guide, and if you have any feedbacks, please let me know in the comments. Until then, have a nice day and see ya!